Good day, Ruskin enjoyers. Have the right, 'cause it's time for Profit Review. Now, last week we discussed the October 16, 2025 Rush Store, and that means today we're here to talk about Halloween Week 1, 2025. So sit back and relax. I'm going to start yapping. So, what's my initial reaction? Well, typically of every single Halloween Rush Store, immediately I'll sit here and say, once it's out of season, it will drop off. It's like an inevitability. So, I'm always going to bring it up whenever we have like a holiday themed Rush Store. Do not be surprised in the slightest if the prices do drop off. You're definitely better off with a buy on pretty much every situation. This applies to, of course, Easter, Halloween, Christmas. You get the idea, right? So immediately, I know it's going to be a bit of a, maybe I'll just stick with a barter type of situation. But I have to point out, we did get some pretty interesting designs. Now, first of all, I was technically involved with this. Even back then, I was like, oh, I can't really talk too much about it. This is obviously in reference to the Bone Wall protest, if you can remember. I have a very special video talking about it and whatnot. But yeah, I had the idea. I passed it on to the skin creators. They did an absolutely phenomenal job. And lo and behold, it got accepted. So yeah, a lovely piece of work for Skell Alistair. Yes, yes. But let's also talk about this in particular right here. That ghost furnace, that is the first ever transparent furnace we have ever seen. And what an idea. Like that was executed wonderfully. Now, technically speaking, it wasn't the first ever time we've seen a transparent ghost furnace being attempted, but this was the first one to be accepted. And, well, props to the skin creator with the chain on around it, the different, like, levels of light with the glow and whatnot. It was a really good job. And it was being appreciated very, very quickly. This skin right here, a lot of people going crazy for it. And even after just a few hours, it was very obvious that people were going like absolutely manic for it. Perhaps it was selling a little bit too much. And that's definitely an issue with like Halloween skins and Christmas skins. During the time, super in demand. But again, like give it a week or so after like Halloween and Christmas, then look at the skins. Uh-oh, you might start noticing the prices are going to start dropping off. It's unfortunate, but we've been through this many times in the past. I warn people as much as I can. So the writing on the wall with that ghost furnace, it kind of felt like pretty obvious. But perhaps with its very unique design, maybe it will actually maintain its price. Let's find out how much exactly that was going to sell by the end of its 7-day tenure in the Rush Store. So yeah, it was looking interesting, but the sales were looking pretty ridiculous as well. Now, of course, with all the other skins, some very interesting, lovely looking designs, very Halloween gimmicked. But yeah, that was most likely going to be a problem later down the line. Should also point out skeleton costume, burlap set. Probably the most generic Halloween costume you could get, the skeleton costume. But hey, that was all by design. Props to the skin creator. But this also glowed in the dark, which kind of got me questioning things. But then again, we do not see that many burlap things being accepted. Now, of course, last year in 2024, we actually saw a decent amount of things. But earlier in the year for 2025, we did get the fryer set, but that didn't have like pants or anything. It just had like a head wrap and the shirt. It was a cool idea. It's just, yeah, that's all we literally had. So maybe this set of 3 here might work out quite all right in the future. Had to keep an eye on it. Should also point out yet another locker, yet another fridge has been accepted. In 2025, it's been pretty absurd with locker skins being accepted. But in comparison to fridges, I mean, it's a bit... Look at it. So, we're seeing far too many lockers. We're seeing far too many fridges. And both of these are very gimmicked towards Halloween. So, they're not in the best of positions. But, I was always going to say, look, if you like them, if you don't have like a very cool looking Halloween base, by all means, buy it, use it, enjoy it, support the skin creator. But as an investment, if you're to sit here and say, oh, maybe I want to buy like 30 or 50 or 100 of them, I was definitely sitting there saying, you're most likely better off with a buy order. And I pretty much say that with every single holiday theme Rush Store. So, yeah, some interesting looking designs. And another minor hat is accepted. So, cool. But of course, with every single Rush Store that we have, I'm always making considerations and figuring out what potentially could be the best investment for this week. And well, looking at all the skins, I thought, you know what? I have to hand it to the burlap set. Looks cool, looks nice. I was rolling with the assumption that maybe it might dip down in price as we go through the likes of, well, the whole of like the next 365 days until another Halloween. But it looked nice. I was doubting we'd see any more burlap skins anytime soon. So I thought maybe it could work out quite alright. I was interested, but I was definitely rolling with the idea of just doing a buy order. Now, over here, pumpkin boots, but not from Robstar. If I could just quickly remind you, in the past, we've had a pumpkin collection slowly building itself up. I've accidentally called it Pwimpkin, whoopsie. So this is made by Robstar. It's missing the tier 2. SEMM doesn't realise it's all the same collection. But in the past, we only got the pumpkin road sign gloves, which was a bit odd. But then again, Face Punch has done that quite a lot in the past. So we never got the boots, and I was always hoping at some point in the future maybe we'll see another attempt for the boots. But lo and behold, this skin creator right here, Mr. MMML, his first ever acceptance, pumpkin boots. Now, this, again, just want to repeat, not part of the pumpkin collection, and even the shade of orange was slightly different. But I looked at it, I thought about it, and I thought, you know what, maybe it could still just slot in perfectly with Robstar's pumpkin collection. So, okay, maybe people will, like it to a certain point. But how many sales was it going to have? Robstar's pumpkin collection didn't exactly have tons of sales. And initially, I could see that these skins were selling pretty crazily. Yeah, a lot of people jumping onto them, so, all right, fair enough. Now, in regards to, like, everything else, I honestly wasn't feeling that confident. High sales, the incredibly gimmicky designs for Halloween, I was doubting. And yes, Ghost Furnace, you're selling far too much. You look cool, and again, I was definitely questioning, perhaps with its very unique transparent design, it stands out amongst all the other furnaces. The lighting on it and whatnot looked amazing. Like, surely this could just not be affected. Maybe it could just easily just retain its value and work out quite all right. Well, yeah, you might think that, but the sales were just so ridiculous. So if I could just quickly hop over to here. Quick heads up. Rustor rotated like 9 hours ago, and the furnace already has 16,000 subscribers. So, if you're thinking about investing, maybe wait it out a bit until Wednesday. By all means, buy one for yourself if you want it though. So yeah, 9 hours in, that Ghost Furnace, it already had over 16,000 subscribers. So, okay. I should also point out, Bone Cultist Garage Store with 6,000 subscribers was also quite a lot as well. Like, everything seemingly was selling just a little bit too much. But that furnace, oh my. And so, let's now talk about the first 24 hours of sales. Ghost Furnace had over 31,000 subscribers, which was, yeah, that's pretty insane. Pretty crazy, yeah. And then the second highest is the Bone Cultist Garage Door with just under 12,000 subscribers. Like, that'd be a normal high amount of sales, but that was in its own world. That was absolutely insane. It was crazy. And it really got me thinking, oh, how much is this going to actually reach? And could it ever actually end up in the positive ever again? With that being accepted, there was definitely the possibility of other skin creators noticing and then deciding, you know what? If that skin creator could get his Ghost Furnace accepted, surely I could make my very own transparent furnace and get that accepted as well. So I was kind of a little bit worried about that. But hey, when a skin sells an absolutely absurd amount, other skin creators will notice and they'll probably want to do the same. So it is what it is. Now, Bone Cultist Garage Door, you look nice, but I was affiliated with you and I couldn't judge it too much. But with such a high amount of sales, and with you being a garage door, that was it was looking a little bit troublesome. I mean, the design looks amazing. Props to Monstera, she is a fantastic artist. And of course, don't forget Mr. Uncle. He did an absolutely phenomenal job with the 3D layout. If you saw how it all developed and whatnot, you'd be very impressed with how he set up the scenery behind this and all that. So anyway, cool looking garage door, but Halloween gimmick, I guess. I mean, you got Alistair in a robe. Honestly, that's scary. But yeah, Burlap was also selling quite a lot as well. Like this Rustor, all the skins selling quite nicely. High sales average, yes indeed. But all of it Halloween themed. Could there still be problems? I mean, well, of course there would. So, all right then, perfectly fine by what we're seeing here. But now, I should also point out, just over 3 days in, Ghost Furnace had 56,000 subscribers. That is, again, insane. But then you can see like Bone Cultist Garage Door here, still just under 20,000 subscribers. Like in any other Rust store, that'd be high. That'd be high. But this, that's in its own world, as I've already said. So now, let's go ahead and start yapping about what prices we suggested when we did the abnormal barders. So let me just go ahead and click this. Oh, yep, that's me showcasing us slowly building up the Halloween build. But what we care about is the sales numbers that we can see right here. So if I could just make this a little bit larger. Ghost Furnace, the day before we had the Rust rotation, it had just under 70,000 subscribers. It had just under 70,000 subscribers. So it was very much expected that that was going to go over 70,000 over the course of like the next 20 or so hours. But that is insane. Now, Bone Cultist Garage Door, initially you were selling quite a lot, but towards the very end it really did slow down. And as of that day, it only had 23,400 subscribers, followed by the Skeleton Costume Burlap set. Just over 22,000 for the clothing pieces there, but the Balaclava only just under 18,000 subscribers. So, well, I mean, I guess the Balaclava just wasn't as impressive. I don't know. I can't answer for everybody, but you can comment below if you have an answer for that. Lords of the Night Locker, 16,700 subscribers. Spooky Harvest Fridge, 15,200 subscribers. A fairly decent amount, but again, with so many lockers and fridges being accepted this year. And then Pumpkin Boots, 14,200 subscribers. It was kind of sending a little bit too much. Now again, it's not actually part of that pumpkin collection, but it could still fill in for the spot for your feet. But yeah, it was sending quite a lot. It was quite a lot. So yeah, that was looking a little bit problematic. And then of course all the other skins. I mean, I didn't have the strongest of expectations for all of them. Like very nice looking designs, but you know, there's always going to be more rocks, more weird, strange head wraps. LR300. Oh, don't even get me started. Backpack did look nice, but we have seen like quite a lot of backpacks ever since November 2024. It was getting pretty absurd in that regard as well. I was feeling very confident that we're going to see another miner hat next week. So overall, just wasn't that optimistic. And I haven't even talked about the wallpapers. Some very interesting looking designs. Two of the skins, or rather wallpapers, they happened to glow in the dark. They were $3 each, and yet I still wasn't feeling very confident with them either. And so, let's go ahead and start yapping about price suggestions. What did we consider offering for all the skins here? So for Ghost Furnace, with the expectation that it was going to definitely reach over 70,000 subscribers by the next day, I said 60 cents to 80 cents. I did not trust it one bit. I thought there was going to be far too many of them on the Steam market. I thought that wouldn't be a good thing, and I wasn't feeling very confident with it. Very nice design, but the possibility of someone else seeing that that design was allowed in, and then the possibility of seeing another transparent furnace being made, I was just like, oh no, uh-oh. So yeah, wasn't feeling super confident. Hence the lowball buy order. Bone Cultist Garage Door, a very cool looking design. Again, can't talk too much about it, of course, because I was technically involved. But yeah, for a $2.49 skin, I suggested $1 to $1.50. Again, the amount of garage doors we've seen in 2025, kind of was expecting it to struggle a bit. Skeleton costume set, so the burlap shirt, pants, and balaclava. I was kind of expecting this to end up, you know, like down a very similar path to the clown set from the previous year. Now, we'll talk about that in a bit, of course, when we talk about the current situation with these skins. But yeah, the clown set from the previous year, it did go down pretty badly over the course of the next 365 days. But it did rise up to a point where it looked to be pretty interesting as an investment. Again, if you picked all the skins up at their lowest price and then flipped them for their actual good prices again for the next Halloween, it probably would have been worthwhile. So I rolled with the expectation that with the skeleton costume set, with it glowing in the dark, I suggested I'd be doing 30 cents to 40 cents. And that's usually a price I offer for a lot of holiday-themed clothing skins. With the possibility to see collection continuations the next year, oh yes, they could spike a price ever so nice. So yeah, I thought the skeleton costume set was going to drop off. Lord of the Night Locker, 60 cents to 80 cents for a $2.49 skin. I feel like I've said more than enough in that regard. Spooky Harvest Fridge, 60 cents to 80 cents. Again, just far too many skins. It was a $2 skin, and yet I'm only going to offer about 60 cents to 80 cents. Tooth Monster Head Wrap and Poncho, 30 cents to 40 cents. Zombie LR300, 60 cents to 80 cents. The Devourer Backpack, a $2 skin, but I thought, you know what, I only want to do between 70 cents to $1. Surgeon Hat, the Miner Hat, didn't sell at an absolutely ridiculous amount like we did with the Halo and the Anglerfish Miner Hat. I suggested only 40 cents to 50 cents. And then we have the Wallpapers. So, for the Tree Roots, for the Dia de los Muertos, and yeah, for those two, I said $1.20 to $1.70. For Halloween Bats, I said $1 to $1.50. And Cobweb Wood, I suggested $1 to $1.50. And then for the regular skins, the skins that weren't abnormal, Pumpkin Boots, I thought it did sell a little bit too much. I said 30 cents to 40 cents for those. And then the That Thing Rock, 80 cents to $1.10. It was a pretty goofy, silly looking design. I just didn't have the strongest of faith with it. And so, how did everything turn out? So the Ghost Furnace did over 73,000 subscribers. Yep, that happened. And yeah, it went down in price. Although, to be honest with you, it's only down by 13%. What? Well, let's go ahead and look at it on the Steam market. I'm going to use my Steam Inventory Helper extension. Alright, so as you can see here, it's sitting here at $1.62. 1161695. So it's not like it's got tons of stock being listed. Like, I was honestly expecting a lot. So based on what I'm seeing here, I can't help but assume a lot of people who bought it quite literally bought it from themselves because they wanted it, which is good to see, very good to see. But of course, I do have to mention this. More furnaces appeared afterwards, which did have transparency. So right now, we have a brand new special charity skin, the Overcharged Furnace for Trust and Rust. And as you'll notice, yep, it's got transparency in the bottom. Looks pretty cool. And all proceeds for that do go towards the Jingle Jam charity. But more specifically, in a rush store that happened like just after Halloween, we have the UFO Abduction Furnace. So Face Punch must have saw this because it looked really, really good. And they thought, wow, we've got to make sure we get that in. But as you can see here, some very smart individuals, other people, they've decided to unload all of their stock, which isn't doing that any favours. I mean, honestly, if you just remove that, that actually probably could have a nice chance. But this right here, that also did like 30,000 subscribers. So it's not like we're struggling to find other options for a transparent furnace. But this right here, honestly, hasn't done that bad. It did sell an absolutely absurd amount. But based on what I see, it honestly looks like everyone who bought it genuinely wanted it. Well, that means the price hasn't dropped off too bad. Could it ever become like a very nice investment? I mean, I'm not sure. It might take a while, but if it goes up a little bit too high, you just know someone's going to try and list like 1,000 of them. And if I click this as well, you can see a lot of people who are involved with SCMM, and you can see if someone has like 1,000 or whatever. Don't see that here. But then again, it's not like we see like everybody who owns Rust on here. Yeah, only people who allow themselves to be so. All right, understood. So with that, feel free to comment below. Did you actually buy any of these yourself? I bought one, and that was just for me. So yeah, my barter suggestion was 60 cents to 80 cents, and honestly, it doesn't look like it's going to go down that low. So, all right, well, props to it. But I want to see how bad it potentially goes down to when we go through like February, March, April, the Easter dip. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. It probably could get cheaper. But of course, with January just around the corner, you might see this go back up in the positive again. So yeah, we'll see. Now with the Bone Cultist Garage Door, it had a bit of a weird thing going on. Initially, someone like bought it all out, and the price went up very high, and then it went down, and then someone bought it out again, but it went back down again. It's not down super bad. There's only there's 98 listed. 79 of them are above $2.49. The barters are okay to a point, but yeah, look at the sales history. It's very high, and it drops off. Then someone buys out a bunch again. In fact, if I show liquidity, you might be able to spot like tons of people bought this. So yeah, over 100 there. And someone tries to buy 50, and then someone tries to buy 40. So honestly, based on what we see here, with it listed at $1.49, yeah, that's not a surprise. Again, how many garage doors we had in 2025? you'll see for yourself 38. 38 is a brand new all-time high. It is ridiculous. And as you might notice, the majority of these are down pretty bad. The recent Cobalt Jungle Container Garage Door up 14. Popstar Garage Door up 63. And then we have Neon Lunar. Neon Lunar Serpent Garage Door comfortably in the positive. And then we also have Mystic Tree Garage Door comfortably in the positive. So out of 38 skins, only 4 of them are actually in the positive. Pretty maddening, but again, with the amount of acceptances, with the amount of competition, are we surprised? No, not really. So I did suggest $1 to $1.50 for this, and I can confirm I did buy a bunch of them. Here's hoping it improves in the future. Do we need to see a Bone Cultist sequel for Halloween? Well, Halloween 2026, just to clarify. What would you like to see being made next then? Like, what would you appreciate? Feel free to comment below, but did you also buy any of these straight from the Rust store, or did you buy any through a barter? Feel free to comment below. Skeleton costume. I was expecting this to drop off. Nope, it's actually in the positive. In fact, out of all the skins here, these two are the only ones that are actually in the positive, although the balaclava did drop off. So let's just quickly go ahead and look at the balaclava. I didn't mean literally, I meant like on the Steam market. Whoops, sorry about that. So yes, unfortunately this did drop off, but I get the feeling it's because people just aren't like bothering to get balaclava. Isn't this the thing that you need a tier 1 workbench for? I can't remember. There's some sort of head wrap of sorts, and I think it's this. And yeah, who on earth is going to go through the effort just to try and get a balaclava? Sorry, I keep thinking it's head wrap. Anyway, very thin, hardly any listings. Barders though, not they're basically non-existent. Could this still go down lower? Kind of would be surprised. But then again, where's the demand for it? 29 have sold in the past 24 hours. So there is at least some demand. Interesting. Well, it is what it is. But over to here, these two, oh yes, they're doing ever so nice. So let's just get a good look at the listings, the barders. So how many have sold in the past 24 hours? 27. You can look at sales history as well. Let's just remove the liquidity. So for a while, just barely over its Rust price. Then as of recent, it's jumped up a bit. But remember, this closed in the dark. How did that end up in the positive? Well, again, it's just due to the lack of options, I guess. Yeah, so don't get too many burlap things. Also, does look cool. I don't want to sound mean when I say it's the generic Halloween skeleton costume. Perhaps a lot of people do appreciate it. Never said anything like that, did I? So, all right, cool. Well, you're looking pretty good. But I was wrong there. I thought it would go down real bad. Now, again, maybe it drops and suffers as we go through February, March, and April. I'll keep an eye on it. But I doubt it's going to go all the way down to 30 cents to 40 cents. So, yeah, I was wrong in that regard. Lord of the Night Locker. Well, for you, we suggested 60 cents to 80 cents. At the moment, you're sitting there about halfway. So, yep, it is $1.20 at the moment. Let's just get a good look at you. Right, so the barders, they basically go all the way up to about 90 cents. And then, yeah, you can see the listings here as well. So, it dropped off. It hasn't gone all the way down to what we expected, but it's not stopping. It's actually still going down in price. And with more and more lockers expected to be on the way eventually, I mean, yeah, it very likely will be reaching all the way down to 60 cents to 80 cents. And if I could just show you all of this in USD again, after this point, it's going to be down to 80-ish. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, it has gone down in price. It's not doing very well for itself. And then we have Spooky Harvest Fridge. Get a good look at him. So after this, we saw like 4 more fridges, which obviously didn't do any favours. This sold for $2 if I can recall. It is halfway, and well, I did say I expected it to drop off to about 60 cent to 80 cent, and based on the barders I see here, it wouldn't surprise me if people did sell directly to these barders. So it does look like my suggestion here for the price of the barders honestly looks like that was correct. This one getting there. Burlap so far, I mean, that was wrong. You right there, you've had some ups, you've had some downs, and you, well, I was a little bit too cautious for you. So yeah, overall at the moment, it's a bit 50-50. But yeah, I did put the warnings out between these two, so hope you were prepared for such a thing. But if you bought one because you liked it, by all means, I hope you enjoyed it. And then for the pumpkin boots, as I mentioned, the shade of the orange was different in comparison to the actual pumpkin collection made by Robstar. It also sold quite a lot, a fair bit more compared to those other pumpkin skins. So I did say 30 cents to 40 cents, and at the moment it is trending downwards. Has it gone all the way down to the expectation I had? No, it has not. However, it is getting there. So look at all the barders. Look at where the bulk of the barders is. So, yeah, Slowly trending downwards, much like what we saw the locker. It might not be going directly down, but it's slowly trending downwards. So I wouldn't be surprised if around like March and April it does drop off to a much lower price. And I do reckon my buy order will then succeed. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. So yeah, unfortunately, there wasn't enough demand to keep the price up. So yeah, it's just a little bit too many of you in comparison to the other pumpkin skins. And remember, technically speaking, it's just independent. This isn't actually part of a collection. So yeah, all right. That thing rock, I didn't really expect that much with you. I just said 80 cents to $1.10, and well, based on what I'm seeing here, it looks like we're matching up to it. Yep. So if I could just quickly show you over to here, it says $1.28, highest bar to 90 cents. And if I look at the sales history, it was cheaper at one point. So it looks like my expectations there, looks like it matched up. But could it actually recover? Well, with all the rock skins we've seen so far this year, and of course, inevitably, with even more rock skins expected next year, I kind of worry for it, but my barter suggestion was correct there, so alright, that's not too bad. Tooth Monster Head Wrap and Poncho. For these two, I did say 30 cents to 40 cents, and at the moment, whilst they've gone down in price, they haven't gone down all the way down to that sort of price. So as you'll see for yourself over to here, it's about 96 cents, and then over to here, the barters do basically, I mean, you've got 11 there at 63, and you've got 16 there at 60, but yeah, around 50 and lower, it does get quite a bit stronger in terms of the amount of buy orders, but the prices do seem to drop off there. Could it get any lower? Well, let's look at the sales history, because of course it does look like it's actually slowly starting to rise up in price. So, oh no, maybe I was wrong in that regard. But again, how low does it go? Around March and April time. Unfortunately, we can't see into the future because, well, I mean, if we could, it'd be a whole lot more fun. But I don't think that'll be going below, and I don't think it will actually match up to my barter. But I'll leave my barter there just in case. You never know. So, all right, cool. Understood. Poncho, I expect the same sort of behaviour. So let's go over to here. Let's see this for ourselves. 85 cents here. And then you look at the barters and you can see right there, 66 cents at 20 quantity. Then it goes immediately. It goes immediately down to 51 cents. I mean, we'll see how that turns out. But yeah, no, that looks like it's more likely to go down to about 30 to 40 cents. It's just, you know, I'm not really feeling confident with both the pieces here. All right, cool. Zombie LR300. We take one quick look at all the LR300s. You'll see for yourselves. Oh, no, yeah. So, yeah. And then what we'll do is just quickly hop over to here. We'll point out that's not actually very in demand, which is unfortunate, but yeah, hey, it happened. So, yep, 85 cents. Past barters about 60-ish cents. 48, 55, yeah, okay. So, yep, that matched up to expectation. Didn't do very well, unfortunately. It's sitting here below $1. Surgeon, oh no, what the backpack? Devour backpack. So let's get a good look at you. So for this, I suggested a price of 70 cents to $1, and as you'll notice, it's just barely over $1 at the moment. My price suggestion does appear to be correct here. So let's just go ahead and get, yep. 86 cents with 27 quantity, 74 cents with 20 quantity. Then it goes all the way down to 48 cents. The amount of backpacks we have seen over the past year, it has been pretty crazy, but I'm talking like literally since November 2024 up to 2025. Yeah, it's been a bit funny, just a bit. So didn't have that much interest, didn't have that much confidence. My price suggestion though, it seems to be smack dab perfect. So all right, cool. Surgeon scrubs. So with the miner hat being the focused item of the month, we were expecting quite a lot of these miner hats, and lo and behold, for every single rush store for the month, we did in fact see one being accepted. We got 5 in total. And unfortunately, they're all struggling, they're all suffering. This type of behaviour we've seen a lot of in regards to previous focused item of the months. So, yeah, it's not looking very pretty, no, it's not. And then, for last, with the wallpapers, which unfortunately aren't visible here. So what I could do is I could just quickly switch over to here and find it for myself. So, we had Dia de los Muertos. Let's just put Dia, there we go. As you'll see for yourself, this sold for $3. It's gone all the way down to $1.63. Now, has it been cheaper? Let's just quickly clarify that. No, it's just trending downwards and it's not stopping. Oh dear. Which is weird because this is the glow-in-the-dark wallpaper, and it's literally, like quite literally a wallpaper. You do stick it on your wall. So, well, maybe it improves as we go through January time. Maybe it improves as we go through the summertime. But based on what I'm seeing here, it does look like it did drop down even further when more wallpapers were introduced. Quite recently, we had the Twitch wallpaper, Twitch Rivals wallpaper. We've even had Christmas wallpapers. So it's in a bit of an odd position. I'll keep an eye on it though. Perhaps in anticipation to Halloween next year. Maybe it goes up in price. We'll see. Yeah, you might see it being brought back as well though. That's another problem that we're a bit concerned about. So, yep, that happened. Then we also have like tree roots. I'll just look at this one now because we don't want to stay here all night, do we? But yeah, as the other example, this also sold for $3, and as you'll notice, with this floor paper, it went all the way down to $1.75. Which, I mean, to be honest with you, that's not that bad. Compared to the previous one, it's not too bad, but it still went below $2, which not exactly the best. And as you notice, it is just trending down slowly, so... yeah, not good, not good, not good, not good. So, honestly, overall, it was a perfectly fine amount of skins. It was a perfectly fine variety of designs. But the expectation was all of these skins are expected to go down in price because, of course, they're all Halloween themed. I think individually, all of these items, all of these skins, they did sell quite a lot, especially in comparison to previous skins that are accepted for these particular items. So, yeah, okay, well, fair enough. But in regards to my barter suggestions, that was a little bit too low. This one was just right. This one was just too high. I didn't do a very good suggestion. I went too low ball. These two, I do expect them to eventually go down lower, as would the boots. So I do believe I'll be getting up. I'll be picking up a lot of interesting skins as time goes on for a much cheaper price. It's just, yeah, will these all ever return to their rust prices and above? Most likely answer is no. Sorry to say. So. Maybe Ghost Furnace could, maybe the Garage Door could, but for now, everything did kind of match up with the idea of, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they all just go down. So, cool, that is it. That's a wrap. So thank you very much for watching the video. I greatly appreciate it. And how about a nice little preview for the next week, Halloween week 2. So we finally got an anime girl Garage Door. Lovely. And then we got 2 beds. Oh dear. Well, as you can see right here, we did get the actual Pumpkin Collection continuation from Mr. Robstar, so that was nice to see. And, oh, hello. Hammer from Hell. A nice glow-in-the-dark hammer. Haven't seen one of those in quite some time in a rust store, so all right. Some interesting things next week. But for now, thank you very much for watching the video. I greatly appreciate it. Best of luck to you and your investments. And let's see how everything turns out in the future. Keep an eye out on all of your skins in your inventory. We're about to roll into post-Christmas very, very soon.